Hello, everyone. My name is Matthew, and I will be guiding you through a integration between Azure DevOps and Salesforce. So let me put my camera right. Let's put it here. So let's start, right? So I got Azure DevOps here on the left side. So I'm working with Google Chrome groups. And then on the right side, I got my Salesforce instance. So Exalate is a decentralized solution. So basically that means we need to install it on both sides of the connection. So on the Azure DevOps side, we go to the marketplace. And on the marketplace, we browse it and we are looking for Exalate. And then if you find Exalate, we will configure it and it will look like this. So this is a control panel, as I like to call it, and it's the same on all the issue trackers that we support. So we got some getting started information with tutorials and documentation. We got some general settings. And then we're going to start our journey with the connections, right? So the first thing we need to do is we need to make a pipeline between instance A and instance B. So in this, it is Azure DevOps and Salesforce. So as I said, it's decentralized. We need to install it on Salesforce side too. So on the Salesforce side, we get it from the app exchange. We look for Exalate, and then it will be configured exactly the same. So we got, again, getting started information. Let me zoom out a little bit to make it easier to read. So general settings, connections, let's start our journey, right? So we click on initiate connection and we take the URL of the other side. So let me copy paste the URL. And then we got two options here. So two configuration types. We got a basic one, it's 4 fields. So you got summary, description, attachments, and comments. And you got the script one. So the script one is based on Groovy scripting. And you do not need to be administrator on both sides with the scripting one. So Exalate will provide a code and then you will have to accept it on the other side. The sky is the limit with the scripting one, but let's start with the basic one. Everything with the basic one is bi-directionally. So very easy to set up. So we select it, we click next, and then we get a code. So we copy that code, we click done. We go to the other issue tracker, we select accept invitation code, we paste the code, click next. And this is a pretty important screen. So every time a case is made in Salesforce and you're going to exalate it, which is a synonym for synchronizing it. So you're synchronizing it to the Azure DevOps side where a twin is made. Then what is getting asked here? Okay, in which project should Exalate make it? So here we're going to select a project. Let's take my own project. Okay, confirm it, and that's it. Let's go. So now let's see the product in action. So it says, please enter a work item key to proceed. So let's create a work item. Let's create a task. And then let's add a title. So ticket 1, basic mode. Okay, let's add a description. Longer description. Okay. And let's add a comment. So a comment from Azure DevOps. Okay, so we save it. And then we got the work item here, so A857. So we take that work item and we put it in here. We click on Exalate. Here we can see the progress of the synchronization. So it's preparing, it's sending, it's waiting for remote. So it's just checking on Salesforce side, and then it's gonna take that connection and it's gonna create a twin on Salesforce, and that will be bi-directionally updated. So it's very awesome to see. So gonna go back to Azure DevOps, and we can see here we got a status synchronized and a remote link. So let's open it up in a new page. Let's put it in the right Google Chrome group, and voila, we are here right now in Salesforce. So that's awesome, right? Now let's change some stuff. Let's add a comment. So a comment from Salesforce, and let's add an attachment too. So I'm going to upload an attachment. Okay, and then these are the 4 fields which I talked about when I said about the basic mode, and they are all bi-directionally updated. All right, so here we can see that comment appeared. And then we got the attachment included here too. So bidirectionally updated between the two instances. So this was the basic mode, but let's dial it up a bit and let's go to the script one. So to start the script one, we again click on initiate connection and we take the URL of the other side. So this time, let me start from the Azure DevOps side. I paste it here. And right now I will select the script one. So this is based on Groovy scripting, which itself is based on Java. And no use case is too complex for this. So I click on next. So here is asking, okay, please give me some friendly names, right? So let's do Azure DevOps to Salesforce. And let's rename it and click next. So again, familiar screen. Where are we gonna standardizing? Where are we gonna populate it from the cases that come from Salesforce? We click the copy invitation code. We go to the Salesforce side. We click accept invitation, and we paste the code. Click next, and that's it. So perfect. Let's start from Salesforce this time. So on Salesforce, you make a case. Right? Just put the camera a bit higher. And we say it comes from the web. It's a new case. Ticket script node. A longer description, comment. And we save it. Okay, so there is two ways to tell Exalate, okay, take these tickets and create a tune on the other side. And from then on, be bidirectionally updated. So two ways. The first way is the manual way, which involves us clicking here on the Exalate button, selecting the connection that we make, and then clicking Exalate. So we'll always see the status exactly where it is. So right now it's waiting for remote. And to recap, Exalate is going to create a twin on Azure DevOps, and then it will be bidirectionally updated. Now, this is not the only way to start a synchronization. The other way is with triggers. So with triggers, you're basically checking for a condition. If that condition is met, then Exalate will automatically put it to the Azure DevOps side. So let's refresh. We got a remote link. So let's click it, open a new page. So that's a Flemish language, this. And we got the ticket here, right? So we can change the description. We can add a comment from Aida, and then let's add a attachment. So let's do this. So now this will synchronize to the other side. So we can see instantly it's picked up and it will go to the Salesforce side. Now it's bidirectionally updated, but it doesn't have to be the case. And I will explain later how we can change the way and the direction how the script works. And yeah, after this, let's jump in the triggers. Then we can see how we can automate this, right? So right now it is synchronized. So if I go to my Salesforce site and I refresh, then here we can see the comment from ADO and I can see the attachment. So wonderful. Now let's automate this. So let's say I want to synchronize tickets from Salesforce that have company name Hidalgo. So how do I do that? I would go to our control panel, go to triggers, and then let me deactivate this one. I would create a trigger, right? So this is going to check on a condition. If that condition is met, it will trigger to the other side. So here I'm going to say, okay, I am going to apply it to a case. And here we got a visual interface, but we can make it bigger if you want, more complex, sorry. And here, the find more details will literally give you more details about how you can make it more complex. So right now, let's say if the company is named Hidalgo, then we want to start a synchronization, and we're going to synchronize with our connection, and we make it active. Now I will make a little side note, and that side note is this is only from the present on. Okay, so if there is a create or update event on a case from right now on, because the trigger is just made, then it will synchronize. Now, if you have a huge backlog of cases, you want to synchronize them over, we click on the three dots here, we click block Exalate. This is going to iterate over all the cases, and then you will find out the ones that have the condition, and then it will Exalate them if you click on this. So let's test it out. Let's create a new case and name it with a company name Hidalgo. So I'm gonna say again, it comes from the web. It's Hidalgo and a ticket, a longer description, a comment, we save it. So we will see that it will get picked up automatically now for the reason that we made a trigger that will trigger on this condition. So here we can see it is picked up and we got a status. So this is gonna create a twin and then it will be bidirectionally updated, right? So let's see how this all works under the hood. So I go to Salesforce, I go to my control panel, I go to my connections. Now the connection that we just made, here I have an option called edit connection. So this, I will spend some moments explaining what is basically happening here. Is here we decide what information we send over to the other side and how we assign the information that we receive from the other side. So on the outgoing sync, this means what information we send to the other side. So on Salesforce, because we are on Salesforce right now, first we check if it's a case. If it's a case, then we take all these fields, right? And I can add more fields if I want. So if I want to add more information to the outgoing side, I want to send more information over, I would add it here. So for example, on our ticket, let's say I got here a color custom field. Now let's say I want to synchronize that information over. So what we do is we would say replica.color. Let me just put it in a double quotation marks. I like to do that because everything that's custom, it jumps instantly in the eye. And we say here entity dot just here color underscore C. This is how it's named in the REST API here in Salesforce. So how you get there is you find the objects and relationships in the object manager, and then you can find the name of the field. So we take that field value and we take a copy of it. So all these fields, we take them and we make a copy of them in the form of a replica object. So let me publish this. And then let's put a value in here. So let's call it blue and let's save it. Okay. Now on the Azure DevOps side, we go to our connections. We find our connection. So we can still see it's pending, but if I refresh, then let's find it. Here we can see it's active. There is 2 entities under synchronization. So let's edit the connection. Right now, same screen. So the outgoing sync, what information am I sending over from Azure DevOps? The incoming sync is how am I assigning the information that I get from the Salesforce side? So here, let's say we got all these things. So the first thing it says, okay, let's populate it in the Mathieu Lepoutre project. It's customizable. If I want to add logic to this, I would do it here with Groovy scripting. Then we're taking all these fields from the replica object and we are assigning it to a value in Azure DevOps. So for example, I have my ticket here. So let's go to the ticket on the other side. So I go to the remote link. So this is the latest ticket that we made. And let's say I want to populate the blue color into doc name. So then we would have to take the replica color and we need to put it into the name called doc name. So let's do that. On the incoming sync, let's write work item dot custom.docName equals replica.color. Okay, so super straightforward. And let's publish this. So now let's see if this will update. Okay, so to do that, I will need to have an update, of course, in Salesforce. So I can just write a comment here. So put blue in dog name custom field, and I share it. Here we can see blue got populated into dog name because also the comment went through. Okay, perfect. Now let's try something vice versa. So we got the state here, right? And let's say if the state is accepted in Azure DevOps, I want the state in Salesforce here to be escalated. So again, what we do is first we send out the information. So we send out the state. So on Azure DevOps, a connection, let's see, work item.state. Okay, we take the state and we put it into a replica. Nice. Okay, now on Salesforce. Let's see on the incoming sync, because now we need to map the status. So how do we do that? Let me first give you a trick. Let's first see if that status really got transferred. So how we can do that is we got this very handy feature here called the entity sync status. So if you click on this entity sync status and we say, okay, the case with this, so this is the case ID, what exactly is happening, right? So this is basically just like, okay, what is it? Like, what is the status? What's the remote link? But also, what are we sending over and what are we receiving? So on the show remote replica, we can see what was sent over from the other side. Let's see show remote replica. And here we got the whole package, right? So the whole JSON. And this is coming over from Azure DevOps. So let's see if we can find the status. So we got the priority included because we put that in the outgoing sync in Azure DevOps. And we got the status too. So right now it's under status.name. Let's map it out. So I go to the edit connection and let's make it, right? So I will go and let's say I do not know how to do this. So I go to the documentation of Exalate. And here I write down, so let's say status Salesforce. How to synchronize statuses in Exalate for Salesforce. So it is with outgoing sync always an incoming sync. So it says Salesforce incoming sync. So let's copy this and let's put it into the incoming sync. And let's see what's happening. So it is based on a remote status name, local status name, all the time with hash maps. So we are gonna say if it's accepted in Azure DevOps, it should be escalated in Salesforce. And let's remove the rest. We take that replica status name. So this has that accepted value, right? Because it's under status.name. And we put it into a variable. And then we assign the status according to that mapping. So let's try it out. Let's publish it. Here I click on publish. Okay, and then on the Azure DevOps side, let's see, escalated. Yes, on the Azure DevOps side, I put it into accepted. And then I save it. So we will see the status change now according to the mapping that we just made, because we designed that mapping in the incoming sync in Salesforce. If I didn't do the spelling right, there is a whole error site involved into Salesforce too, into Exalate too. So it will say why it didn't work out, and it will say, okay, but it will work out because we mapped it right. So here we can see the status is escalated. Right. I hope that was useful, and I hope you learned a lot. So again, it's all based on what information are you sending out and how are you assigning that information on the other side. If there are any questions, please put them in the comments and I will reply as soon as possible. Thank you.